My dear child, I know the weight you've been carrying, even if no one else sees it. You've been walking through your days holding pieces of yourself together while silently praying, "God, please don't let me break." You've smiled in rooms where your heart was hurting. You've given strength to others while quietly wondering where your own strength would come from. And the truth is, you're tired. Deep down, soul level, tired. I've watched you wrestle with thoughts in the middle of the night, thoughts that swirl like a storm, thoughts that say, what if nothing changes? What if this is all there is? But I want you to hear me clearly. This is not all there is. What you're walking through right now is not the conclusion of your story. It's a page in the middle, a crucial, sacred page that I'm using to prepare you for what's coming next. You've been sensing something, haven't you? You can't quite explain it, but you felt a spiritual pressure building, as if something around you is shifting. Your heart feels stirred. Your sleep hasn't been the same. You've noticed patterns breaking, relationships changing, even your own reactions evolving. You've begun to feel the disconnection from old things, but you're not fully connected to the new yet. That space, that unknown space between who you were and who you're becoming, is where I'm speaking to you now. Let me tell you something you might not fully believe yet. Nothing about this moment is accidental. The confusion, the tension, the restlessness, these are not signs of failure. They are signs of spiritual construction. I am doing something in the invisible that will change what is visible. I'm rearranging the atmosphere around your life. I'm realigning people, opportunities, timing, all with divine precision. You don't see it yet, but you will. I know it's hard. I know waiting without clarity feels like torture. I know how many times you've prayed, "God, just give me a sign." But listen to me. The silence is not absence. It is movement. Holy, precise, divine movement. The same way a seed must break underground before it rises, you are breaking through something hidden before anything can grow where others can see. There have been moments you wanted to give up, moments you questioned if you even heard me right. Was I wrong to believe? Did I imagine the promise? Was it all just wishful thinking? You weren't wrong. You weren't imagining things. That whisper you heard in your spirit, that quiet but undeniable sense of calling, of purpose, of destiny, that was me. I put it there, and I never start something without finishing it. But before the shift happens in your life, it first happens inside of you. That's what's been happening lately. An inner unraveling, a holy tension. You've been losing your appetite for things that once satisfied you. You've been more sensitive to truth and more repelled by what's fake. The things that once entertained you now feel empty. You're growing, spiritually, emotionally, even mentally. And that growth often feels like grief. But what you're grieving is the part of you that can't come with you into the next season. So if you've been asking, what's wrong with me? Let me give you the answer. Nothing is wrong with you. Something is changing in you. And more importantly, something is changing around you. Angels have been assigned to your life. Doors are being set to open at appointed times. I'm preparing people to bless you, to help you, to walk with you. But I must finish what I'm doing in the invisible before I reveal it in the visible. Don't rush the process. Don't despise the discomfort. Don't interpret delay as denial. I'm not punishing you. I'm preparing you. Because what's coming is greater than what you lost. What's ahead will heal what hurt you. And when you step into it, you will understand why the warfare was so intense, why the silence was so loud, why you were pulled away from certain people, places, and patterns. You see, what I'm about to do in your life requires a version of you that's anchored, not just excited, rooted, not just emotional, obedient, not just hopeful. I'm building that version of you in this very season. Through every tear, every unanswered question, every lonely moment. You're being transformed in the tension. And I need you to hear this next part deeply in your soul. I am with you. I haven't left. I haven't stopped caring. I haven't stopped moving. My love hasn't changed because of your mistakes, your doubts, your exhaustion. I'm not afraid of your weakness. I'm the God who strengthens you in it. And every sigh, every prayer, every whisper of God help me, I've heard them all. I've collected every one like treasure. There is a shift coming. Yes, something is changing in the invisible. It's real, it's active, it's divine. And if you could see what I see, if you could glimpse the magnitude of what I'm setting in motion on your behalf, you wouldn't worry for another moment. You'd prepare. So let me ask you, will you trust me here? Will you keep walking even when the road is foggy? Will you worship even when your heart feels heavy? Will you believe that I'm still writing your story and that the next chapter is full of light? You've made it this far not because you were lucky, but because you were chosen. The pain didn't disqualify you. The delay didn't cancel your promise. It's all been a setup, a divine orchestration of time and spirit. Get ready, because what's coming is not small, it's not ordinary, and it's not late. It's right on time. You've been searching for a moment like this, not just scrolling for distraction, but hoping that something would speak directly to you. And here I am. I guided you to this very message because I've heard your silent questions, your restless thoughts, and your quiet plea. God, if you see me, please say something. So now I'm saying it. I see you. I've always seen you. Even in the places where you felt invisible to others, I was watching with love that never turned away. Even when your strength was wearing thin, I was holding you together in ways you couldn't fully see. I want you to know what I see when I look at you right now. Not the you that the world sees, not the one you try to present when you're tired but still pushing through. I see the you that kept going even when you wanted to stop. I see the you that cried in silence, but still showed up for others. I see the you that still believes, even when doubt shouts louder than hope. And I want to say this clearly. I'm proud of you. Yes, even with all your questions, even with your imperfections, even when you felt unsure about me, I've been proud of your courage, your faith, your heart. You've been standing in a space where not many could endure. You've felt like you're in between who you were and who you are becoming. And that in-between space has felt like a storm. But I'm using that storm. I'm allowing it not to destroy you, but to reveal who you really are and what I've placed inside of you since the beginning. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling this tension. You're not broken. You're being broken open so that what's real, what's eternal, what's holy, can rise. This is why you've been more sensitive lately. Why you're not satisfied by shallow things anymore. Why you feel disconnected from people or places you once clung to. Because I'm pulling you higher, deeper, closer. I'm shifting the atmosphere of your life to make space for what's about to be birthed through you. You've been praying for change, but now you're living through the process that brings it. And it's uncomfortable. Growth often is. But I need you to understand something. You're not behind. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. Every delay had a purpose. Every detour had direction in it. What you thought was failure was actually me rerouting you for something better. What you assumed was silence was actually preparation. I have not been absent. I've been working behind the scenes, arranging divine connections, aligning opportunities, and preparing your heart to receive what's on the way. And it's closer than you think. I know it's tempting to compare your life to others, to feel like they're ahead, like they've figured it out, while you're still waiting. But I need you to stop looking side to side and start looking up. What I've written for you is not the same as anyone else's path. I don't rush your process because your foundation matters to me. What I'm building through you requires depth. That's why it's taken time. That's why certain doors didn't open. That's why I've protected you from relationships, jobs, situations that looked good, but weren't aligned with your calling. I've been pruning so that what remains is pure, so that when the blessing comes, you'll be ready, not just to receive it, but to carry it with grace and wisdom. So here's what I want from you right now. Don't give up. Don't shut your heart down. Don't harden yourself just because you're tired. Stay soft. Stay open. Stay close to me. This is the moment where many turn away because they think nothing's happening. But something is happening in the invisible. And those who trust me here will see the miracle unfold in the visible. I am not asking you for perfection. I'm asking you for presence. I'm asking you to be with me, to talk to me even if your voice shakes, to sit in silence if words don't come, to believe, even with trembling hands, that I am still faithful. If this word is stirring something in you, respond. Don't let it pass like just another message. Say it out loud. I am ready for what's next. Write it down. Hold it close. Let your spirit agree with mine. That simple act of faith opens a door for me to move. It's not about magic. It's about alignment. When your heart says yes to what I'm doing, even before it all makes sense, heaven begins to move in your direction. And I promise you this, you will not come out of this empty. Everything you've walked through, every tear you've cried, every moment you chose to keep going, I will honor it. I will multiply what you sowed in secret, and the harvest will come. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. There's a reason why your soul has felt unsettled lately, why you wake up some days with a weight you can't explain, why your mind seems to fight battles before your feet even touch the floor. This isn't just emotional fatigue or mental exhaustion. What you're feeling is spiritual. You're in the middle of a shift that the physical world can't fully explain, but your spirit knows something is happening. You've been sensing the shaking, the stirring, the stretching, and no matter how you try to push it away or explain it through logic, it keeps calling your attention. That's me. I'm allowing you to feel it because I don't want you to ignore what I'm doing. What you're going through right now is not just about your circumstances. It's about your atmosphere. You've been under a spiritual pressure, a divine tension, because I am breaking off things that no longer belong to your future. There are old mindsets, old attachments, old identities that can't go with you where I'm taking you. And though you may not understand why certain people left, why certain plans failed, or why certain doors stayed shut, I do. I allowed them to close, not to punish you, but to protect you. Because when I call you forward, I must also cleanse what's around you. And sometimes that means removing what you thought you needed. I know that part hurts. I know it feels like loss. But what you're actually experiencing is divine separation. And separation always comes before elevation. Before I lifted Joseph to a palace, I allowed him to be separated from his brothers. Before David wore the crown, he had to endure the cave. Before Jesus stepped into resurrection, he walked through Gethsemane and the cross. What you are in right now, this space between promise and fulfillment, is your preparation ground. And I'm not absent in it. I'm closer than ever, watching, shaping, refining. I'm pruning not to reduce you, but to make you fruitful in a way you've never been before. You've been asking me, why do I feel so heavy? Why is there so much resistance when I'm trying to do what's right? It's because the warfare has increased around you, not because you're weak, but because you're close. Hell doesn't fight what isn't a threat. The enemy has seen the potential in you, even when you've doubted it yourself. He knows what I've placed inside you, and he's terrified of what happens when you start walking in it. That's why the pressure has increased. That's why old wounds have resurfaced. That's why your emotions have been unpredictable. The battle is spiritual. You're not crazy. You're not overly emotional. You're not weak. You're in a war that's trying to stop your next level, but let me remind you, the battle belongs to me. I've already secured your victory. What I need is your alignment, your awareness, your willingness to stay close, even when it feels like nothing's changing. Because something is changing in the invisible. And what shifts in the invisible eventually manifests in the physical. But first, I must deal with the root. And some of the roots I'm exposing right now are deeper than you realized. I'm bringing up insecurity that's been buried for years. I'm pulling out shame that was hiding under your smile. I'm revealing wounds that were never truly healed. Not to shame you, but to heal you completely. I don't want to bless the version of you that's still bleeding. I want to restore you fully, deeply, from the inside out. Let me tell you what's really happening. I'm detoxing your spirit. You've been carrying things that don't belong to you, expectations from others, pressure to perform, lies that you've believed about who you are. And those things have been choking the life out of your joy, your peace, your clarity. But I'm not letting you live bound anymore. I'm setting you free. And sometimes, freedom feels like fire. It burns off the excess. It purifies. It separates. And yes, it can be painful, but it's holy. Because when the fire passes, what's left is real. And I'm after what's real in you. So if you feel like you're unraveling, you are. But not in a way that ends in destruction. In a way that ends in revelation. I'm unraveling the false identities you've worn just to survive. I'm removing the layers of self-protection you built in past seasons of trauma. I'm stripping away the masks, not to expose you in shame, but to introduce you to the version of you I created before the world hurt you. That's the you I'm calling forth now, the healed, bold, free, whole you. And yes, it requires confrontation. Yes, it means revisiting some memories, letting go of some habits, breaking ties with familiar but toxic patterns. But this is not a punishment, it's a rescue. I'm not taking things from you to leave you empty. I'm clearing the space so I can fill you with what truly lasts. You've asked me to change your life. I am. But before I change your situation, I'm changing you. Because if I gave you the promise too soon, it would crush you. I need to build the foundation strong enough to hold the blessing. And that's what this season is about. Foundation. Not popularity, not quick answers, not temporary fixes, but lasting healing, lasting identity, lasting purpose. That's what I want for you. You don't have to understand all of it right now. You don't even have to feel strong every day. I just want your yes, your trust, your presence. I'm not rushing you. I'm walking with you, one moment, one layer, one healing at a time. And I promise you, what's on the other side of this is more beautiful than what you left behind. You've been asking for signs, some visible proof that what you're sensing is real, that you're not just hoping in vain. You've prayed things like, Lord, if I'm on the right path, just give me a sign. And though you may not have recognized them, I've been giving them all along. You see, I don't always speak through the loud and dramatic. More often, I speak in the subtle, the ordinary, the moments that whisper instead of shout. That unexpected peace that came in the middle of your anxiety, that was me. That random text from someone who reminded you of who you are, that was me. That stirring in your spirit that told you not to settle, that was me too. I've been surrounding you with signs of my hand, signs of alignment, signs that your steps are not being wasted, even if the road feels unclear. You're in a season where your faith is growing, not because everything is working out, but because you're learning to believe even when it doesn't. That's what real faith is. Not seeing and then believing, but believing even when there's no physical evidence yet. And because you've kept walking, even with limited vision, I'm about to reward your obedience. The atmosphere around you is shifting because your heart has stayed open. You've kept praying, even when your prayers felt unanswered. You kept showing love, even when you felt unseen. You've chosen to forgive, even when you had every reason not to. Those choices didn't go unnoticed. Heaven sees it all. And now, heaven is moving in response. I want you to understand something that most people miss. I move on obedience, not just desperation. And you, beloved, have obeyed in silence, in tears, in long nights. That's why the winds are changing. That's why you've started to feel that internal sense that something is coming. Even if nothing around you looks different yet, I've been sending confirmation in waves. You've noticed numbers repeating, dreams becoming more vivid, old patterns falling away. You've been seeing faces you haven't seen in years, or feeling led to cut ties with people you once leaned on. That's not coincidence. That's divine orchestration. I'm pruning, positioning, preparing. And I'm inviting you to pay attention because your spirit already knows what your eyes haven't seen yet. I'm a God of promise. And what I promise, I perform. I'm not like man. I don't change my mind based on circumstances. I don't forget what I spoke over you. Before you were even formed in your mother's womb, I saw this exact season of your life. I saw the heartbreak, the confusion, the waiting, and I still said yes to your destiny. I still said yes to your name. And now, the promises I made to you are being activated, not by chance, but by my timing. This is not about your qualifications or your perfection. This is about my covenant with you. What I've spoken over your life is sealed by my spirit, not by your performance. So stop disqualifying yourself based on your past. Stop assuming I've changed my mind about you just because the process took longer than you expected. My promises are not expired. They are alive, maturing, moving toward manifestation. The first sign of change is not always external. It's internal. And you've been changing. You're more aware, more sensitive to my voice, less attached to things that once controlled you. That's not failure. That's transformation. And transformation is the foundation for promotion. I'm about to elevate you, not just in position, but in identity. You're going to wake up and realize that you're no longer living from a place of survival, but from purpose. You won't have to force doors open. They'll open naturally. You won't have to chase people. The right ones will be drawn to the light in you. Because what I'm doing is not cosmetic. It's foundational. I'm rebuilding your life on truth, on grace, on divine order. There are signs all around you that this shift is real. You're craving more of me. You're no longer satisfied with shallow relationships or surface-level spirituality. That's not random. That's the call of destiny pulling you deeper. I'm speaking through your hunger. I'm confirming through your discomfort. And I'm leading you through your questions. Stop looking for fireworks and start noticing the patterns. I speak through repetition, through inner conviction, through the peace that comes after surrender. And lately, haven't you noticed how certain things no longer disturb you like they used to? That's growth. That's me enlarging your capacity. You've been through the wilderness, you've walked through nights that made you question everything, but you never let go of me. And that matters more than you know. You may feel like you failed at times, but I don't measure you by moments of weakness. I measure you by the fact that you kept getting back up, that you never walked away for good, that you kept whispering my name even through your pain. Because of that, the promise stands. I've not changed my mind about you. I'm still releasing what I spoke over you, and I'm confirming it even now, in this very moment, as you read these words. This is the beginning of breakthrough. The invisible has already shifted. Now the visible will catch up. You will see favor where there was frustration. You will see open doors where there were walls. You will experience clarity where there was confusion. Not because you earned it, but because you stayed faithful. The reward is coming, and it will not be delayed. Now that I've opened your eyes to the shift that's happening in the invisible, I need you to understand how to walk this out in your daily life, because the movement I've begun in the Spirit must now be matched by movement in your choices. Faith is not just a belief. It's a lifestyle. It's a rhythm. It's a posture of expectation that becomes visible in how you respond to every situation you face, even the smallest ones. What I'm doing is not limited to your quiet time or your Sunday service. I want to be present in how you think when you're driving, how you speak to the people around you, how you respond to disappointment, and how you carry yourself when no one's watching. That's where transformation takes root, not in the grand, but in the consistent. So let's talk about what faith looks like in this season of transition. First, it looks like peace. Not the kind of peace that depends on everything going right, but the kind that chooses stillness, even in uncertainty. I want you to begin to choose peace daily, not because you feel it, but because you trust me. Every time anxiety rises, every time your mind begins to spiral into what-ifs, stop, take a breath, and declare, God is in control. I release this to Him. That declaration, repeated consistently, shifts the spiritual atmosphere. It trains your soul to trust instead of panic. And with every repetition, you reinforce your alignment with me. Faith also looks like preparation. If you truly believe that something is changing in the invisible, then begin to prepare for what's coming. Do what Noah did. Build the ark before the rain. Organize your life in a way that reflects your expectation. Clean out the clutter, physically, mentally, spiritually. Stop holding on to relationships you know I've asked you to release. Stop pouring energy into habits that are draining your spirit. Begin to make room for the new. Faith doesn't just say, God will do it. Faith asks, how can I prepare for what He's doing? I'm not telling you to hustle. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm inviting you to partner with me in the process. And that partnership happens in the ordinary, in how you steward your time, your words, your thoughts, and your body. Even getting rest is an act of faith. It's you saying, I trust God enough to stop striving. So rest when I lead you to. Step when I prompt you to. Listen when I nudge your heart to pause and pray. These are the small hinges that will open big doors. And let's talk about your words. They carry weight, more than you realize. I want you to begin speaking as if my promises are already on the way, not in a way that pretends, but in a way that aligns. Speak life. Speak hope. Speak with authority. You've allowed discouragement to steal your vocabulary, but I'm giving it back to you now. Your tongue has power, and when you speak in agreement with my word, you activate change. So when fear tells you it's not going to happen, I want you to respond, my God is faithful. What He promised, He will perform. When shame whispers, you're not good enough, I want you to say, I am chosen. I am loved. I am being transformed. These declarations aren't just affirmations, they are spiritual weapons. You've also been placed in a specific environment for a reason. Your workplace, your home, your circle of influence. These are not random. I've placed you there as light. That doesn't mean you have to be loud or forceful. It means I want you to live in a way that reflects my presence. Be kind where others are impatient. Be honest where others lie. Be gentle where others shout. Let your life preach louder than your words. And when opportunities arise to speak, don't shrink back. I will give you the words. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing. And let's not forget, this walk of faith also requires community. I know you've been hurt before. I know you've tried to do this alone. But isolation is dangerous in this season. You need people who are aligned with my spirit. People who will call out the best in you, who won't let you settle. Pray for that. Ask me to send divine connections. I will. I already have people in motion. People who will sharpen your faith, protect your purpose, and remind you who you are when you forget. Don't let past wounds keep you from future alignment. What I'm doing in you is too important to be guarded in isolation. Let me lead you to the right relationships, and when I do, don't run. Receive them. Trust me enough to open again. This is how your faith becomes alive, not just in what you believe about me, but in how you walk with me. I am walking with you through the quiet mornings, through the hard conversations, through the financial pressure, through the loneliness, through the moments of celebration and the moments of confusion. I want to be involved in it all, so don't separate the spiritual from the practical. Bring me into every corner. Invite me into your thoughts while you're cleaning the house. Talk to me while you're stuck in traffic. Ask me what I think about your next step. I don't just want to be your savior. I want to be your daily companion, your guide, your father, your friend. And finally, I want you to expect joy again. I'm not just leading you to breakthrough, I'm leading you to delight, to laughter, to lightness of spirit. You've carried so much heaviness, and I honor your endurance. But joy is your portion too. So even as you wait, even as you walk, allow yourself to enjoy small moments. Don't postpone your praise. Don't delay your joy until everything is fixed. Celebrate what's already shifting. Thank me for what's unseen. That's how faith becomes fuel. When your worship goes ahead of your breakthrough, you're not just surviving anymore. You're walking in something new, and everything around you will begin to reflect what I've started inside of you. Get ready to see the evidence. And until then, live like it's already begun. Because in the spirit it has. I know you've questioned your worth. I know there have been seasons where you looked in the mirror and struggled to see anything of value. You've measured yourself through the lens of your past, your failures, your delays. And somewhere along the way, you started believing the lie that you were not enough, that you missed your chance, that something in you was broken beyond repair. But today, I'm speaking to the depths of your being, to the core of who you truly are, and I am restoring what life tried to steal. You are not forgotten. You are not too far gone. You are mine, fully, completely, eternally, and I am not finished with you. You need to hear this. Your identity is not defined by what you went through. It's not defined by who walked away, by what didn't work out, or by how long it's taken you to heal. I don't call you by your mistakes. I call you by your name. I don't see you through the lens of your shame. I see you through the lens of my mercy. You've been covered by grace from the very beginning, even when you couldn't feel it. And though the world may have tried to label you too sensitive, too late, too weak, too broken, I never gave you those names. I've always called you beloved, chosen, redeemed, warrior, child. You've spent too long agreeing with voices that were never mine, and those voices shaped how you saw yourself, small, unworthy, barely enough. But I'm silencing every voice that doesn't echo my heart for you. I'm dismantling the inner dialogue that's kept you living beneath your true identity. Because what I placed inside you, no disappointment, no person, no failure can remove. You were created with eternal purpose. You are not a random soul. You're not the result of circumstances. You're the result of intention, of vision, of divine desire. Let me remind you of what's always been true. You carry something sacred. There's a brilliance in you that hell has tried to dim. There's a calling on your life that darkness has fought since the day you were born. You've been through battles most people don't know about, survived things that should have broken you, but you're still here. And you being here is evidence that I'm not done. You didn't make it this far by accident. I've been sustaining you, breathing into you even when you didn't realize it was me. I preserved you for this moment, for this awakening of identity, for this holy remembrance of who you really are. The enemy tried to wear you down, not just to make you tired, but to make you forget. Forget that you are royalty. Forget that you have authority. Forget that you are anointed. But I'm stirring something back to life in you. I'm awakening the fire that trials tried to smother. I'm reminding your soul that you were created for more than just survival. You were created to reign, not in arrogance, but in spiritual confidence. You were created to walk in peace, in purpose, in power. You were created to love deeply, to forgive boldly, to speak truth with compassion. You were created in my image, and that image is rising again. You may feel like you've lost time, like you've missed too many chances, but hear me, I am the Redeemer of time. I don't need your life to fit into human timelines. I don't measure your progress the way people do. I can do more in one moment of obedience than years of striving could accomplish. And I'm restoring what was lost. What shame stole, I will restore with honor. What pain disrupted, I will rebuild with peace. What confusion clouded, I will clear with clarity and conviction. And even the places where you feel weak, especially there, I will pour out my strength. You don't have to prove anything to me. I already know the truth about you. I know the strength that's been buried. I know the love you still carry even after all the betrayal. I know the faith that's still flickering, waiting to be fanned into flame. And I'm not here to shame you for what went wrong. I'm here to breathe life into what's still right. There is still a future. There is still beauty ahead. There is still joy that you haven't experienced. There are doors I will open, not because you earned them, but because I'm a good father and you're my child. Let's start seeing yourself differently, not through the lens of fear, but of faith. Not through the past, but through the promise. When I look at you, I see someone who carries purpose. I see resilience. I see compassion forged in pain. I see vision born in the dark. I see a heart that still loves, still hopes, still believes. That is not weakness, that is power. And I'm going to use all of it. Nothing will be wasted. Not one tear. Not one delay. Not one silent night. I'm weaving it all together into a testimony that will inspire others, into a light that will guide people who are walking where you once walked. So rise again, not with pressure, but with peace. Rise again, not because you have all the answers, but because you're saying yes to the truth of who you are. You don't have to fight to become someone else. You just have to remember who I made you to be. And that remembering, that returning, is the beginning of restoration. From the inside out, from identity to action, from surviving to thriving. You're not broken beyond repair. You're not too late for your calling. You're not disqualified by what hurt you. You are mine. You've always been mine, and you're coming back into alignment with what I spoke over your life before the world ever touched you. Now that you're beginning to remember who you truly are, it's time to walk with me more intentionally. You've asked me to move in your life. You've asked me to speak, and I am. But now, I need you to respond, not just with emotion, but with action, with posture, with consistency, because my power flows best through those who are available, attentive, and aligned. This next part of your journey will require more than belief. It will require discipline born from desire, and devotion born from love. And don't worry, I'm not asking you to become perfect overnight. I'm asking you to start somewhere, and I'll meet you every step of the way. Let me speak first about your time with me. I know life has been loud. I know distractions surround you. I know your schedule is full and your mind rarely feels still. But that's exactly why you need to prioritize intimacy with me. Not as an obligation, but as a lifeline. I want you to begin setting aside intentional time with me again. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be 10 minutes in the morning before the world wakes up. It can be in your car, in the shower, on a quiet walk. What matters is that you show up, heart open, no filter, no performance. Just you and me. Talk to me. Ask me questions. Sit in the silence. I'm not far. I'm waiting. And I will begin to speak more clearly when you slow down enough to listen. And as you come to me, I want you to return to my word. Not out of religious duty, but because there are things hidden in Scripture that I want to reveal to you personally. The Bible is not just a historical book. It's alive. It breathes. And if you open it with a heart ready to receive, I'll meet you there. Start in the Psalms when your heart feels heavy. Go to John when you want to see Jesus' love up close. Read Proverbs when you need wisdom for your next step. You don't have to rush or study like a scholar. You just have to approach it like a child, curious, hungry, trusting. Highlight what moves you. Write down what stands out. And when something stirs your heart, don't move on too quickly. That's me trying to go deeper with you. Prayer and the Word. These are not religious checklists. They are how we stay connected. They are how I pour into you, how I strengthen you, how I teach you to see through my eyes instead of your fears. And from this connection, your heart will begin to shift. Your discernment will sharpen. Your peace will grow. You'll begin to recognize when I'm speaking and when the enemy is trying to distort. And you'll stop reacting to everything around you because you'll be anchored in something within you, my presence. But I also want to speak to your posture. Not just your private devotion, but your daily attitude. I need you to begin walking as if my promises are true. That means waking up with expectation, not dread. Speaking words of faith, not defeat. Choosing gratitude even when things aren't ideal. These may seem small, but they are powerful shifts. They create space for me to move. When you choose to thank me before the breakthrough, you're not just being positive, you're activating heaven. When you speak life over your situation, even when it still looks dead, you're echoing my voice. That is what shifts atmospheres. That is what brings alignment. Your attitude is not just a reflection of your emotions. It's a weapon in the spirit. And let's talk about forgiveness. I know this one's hard, but I cannot move fully in a heart that's still chained to bitterness. I need you to release those who hurt you, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. I'll deal with them. I saw what they did. I saw the betrayal, the manipulation, the neglect. I grieved with you. I wept when you wept. But if you hold on to that pain, it becomes poison. And you were never meant to carry that, so give it to me. All of it. Name it if you need to, cry if you must, but release it. I'm ready to flood that space with healing, but only if you let go. Lastly, stay sensitive to my voice throughout your day. I don't just speak in the quiet. I speak in the middle of your workday, your errands, your chaos. I'll whisper a name for you to pray for. I'll give you a thought that seems random. Follow it. I'll place someone in your heart. Send them a message. These are not coincidences. This is how we partner. This is how the supernatural begins to break into your natural life. You don't need to be a prophet to hear me. You just need to be present. And I promise, if you make space, I will speak. So here's where you start. Find a place just for a few minutes each day to be with me. Open your Bible, even if it's just a verse. Let gratitude be your first language in the morning. Pay attention to my nudges. Forgive quickly. Speak life. Expect joy. And above all, stay close. I'm not asking for religion, I'm inviting you into rhythm. The kind of rhythm that heals, restores, and empowers. The kind that doesn't just change your day, it changes your destiny. You've already said yes in your heart. Now say yes in your lifestyle. Not to earn my love, but to live fully in it. Because what's coming requires you to be spiritually awake, emotionally present, and rooted in truth. And as you begin to walk like this, you'll see what I've been trying to show you all along. I'm not just your God in crisis. I'm your Father in every moment. And I want to walk with you, whisper to you, strengthen you, until what I've started in the invisible becomes visible, undeniable, and unstoppable. I want you to listen closely now. There's something I've been waiting for the right moment to release, and that moment is now. You've positioned your heart to hear me. You've leaned in through the silence, and because of your faithfulness, even when it felt fragile, I'm now speaking a specific word over your life. This isn't general. This isn't abstract. This is for you, right now, right where you are. And as you receive this, I need you to hold it tightly, because it carries the weight of heaven's intent. The shift you've been feeling is not your imagination. It is your confirmation. What's been happening in the invisible is about to manifest in undeniable ways. You're about to walk into a season of sudden movement. You've endured the slow. You've waited through the stillness. But what's coming next will not be a gradual crawl. It will be swift. I'm not just opening one door, I'm opening multiple. Where there has been blockage, there will be flow. Where there has been resistance, there will be release. The tension you've been carrying in your chest, the spiritual pressure you've been sensing for weeks, even months, that wasn't random. That was the build-up before breakthrough. And now, breakthrough has a name, and it's yours. There are alignments that I've already set into motion. People who were unaware of your name are about to speak it in rooms you haven't entered. You've been hidden, but not forgotten. I've been preparing you, not punishing you. And this hiddenness has preserved you. It has matured you. It has humbled you so that when the light comes, you'll carry it with wisdom, not pride. You've been wondering, why have I felt stuck? But you weren't stuck. You're being rooted, because what I'm building through you cannot be shallow. I don't want you to rise quickly and then fall under the weight of success. I want you to stand strong, with depth, with clarity, with integrity. That's why the process took time. But now the time has shifted, and you're stepping into manifestation. There is an acceleration over your life. I'm redeeming the years you thought were wasted, the detours, the heartbreaks, the missed opportunities. I'm turning delay into divine timing. And you will soon say, if it had happened earlier, I wouldn't have been ready. But now I see why God made me wait. Because now your spirit is awake, your ears are tuned, your identity is restored. You don't just want the blessing, you're ready to carry the responsibility that comes with it. And I can trust you now. That's why it's coming. I'm releasing provision, but not just financially. I'm providing clarity. I'm providing strategic insight. I'm sending you people who will walk with you, pray with you, believe with you. You've been carrying vision alone, but that's about to change. Help is coming. Support is coming. And where you once had to push every door open yourself, now you'll see doors open as you walk toward them. This is not magic. This is momentum birthed in obedience. I'm honoring every yes you gave me in private. Every time you chose to walk away from what wasn't me. Every time you protected your peace, even when it cost you company. You thought no one saw that. But I saw. And now comes the reward. You've also been sensing a calling. Deeper, heavier than before. It's not just a desire to do good. It's a burden to be different. To live with holiness, with intentionality, with authority. That's not pressure. That's me, awakening your mantle. You were never meant to blend in. That's why fitting in has always felt forced. You were born to lead atmospheres, to shift environments, to carry my presence into dark places. And the season that's coming will demand your voice. It will require your boldness. So don't shrink. Don't doubt your preparation. You may not feel qualified, but I have qualified you by my Spirit. I'm also stirring up the gifts that have been lying dormant. Creativity, strategy, bold ideas, they're coming alive again. Dreams that you buried are coming back to the surface, but this time with structure. I'm breathing new life into the very things you almost gave up on. This is not random inspiration. This is a divine reactivation. Your season of silence is becoming a season of building. You won't just talk about vision, you'll walk in it. You won't just plan, you'll execute. You won't just hope, you'll harvest. And even as I speak this word over you, I am releasing a fresh anointing. It will come quietly, but you'll feel it. A deeper peace, a stronger sense of clarity. You'll begin to know things in your spirit before they happen. Don't second guess it. That's discernment. That's the Holy Spirit confirming your steps. I am speaking in dreams, in impressions, in divine timing. Watch how things begin to connect without your effort. Watch how delays begin to break. Watch how what once resisted you now recognizes the authority you carry. This is a spiritual shift, but it will be followed by physical results. You won't have to force what flows in this next season. What took months will take days. What once drained you will energize you. Where there was confusion, there will be divine strategy. I'm aligning the timing, the connections, the resources, all at once. And when it begins to happen, don't apologize. Don't explain away the blessing. Don't shrink back to make others comfortable. You waited. You sowed. You believed. Now you will reap. Boldly. Joyfully. Freely. So write it down, mark this moment. Let this word live in your spirit. You are entering the season of visible evidence. You won't just feel the shift, you'll see it. And when you do, remember, this is not a reward for perfection. It's a fulfillment of promise. It's me, your Father, doing what I said I would do. Not one word I spoke over your life has expired. It's all alive, and it's moving toward you now. There comes a moment in every life where change no longer depends on circumstances shifting, but on something sacred awakening inside the soul. This is that moment for you. You've walked through the revelation. You've endured the breaking. You've received my promises. Now it's time for something deeper. Not just comfort, not just clarity, but encounter. I want to fill the places within you that nothing else could reach. I want to touch the parts of you that no one else sees. I want to meet you in the deepest chambers of your heart, where pain has built walls and fear has whispered lies. I want to go there, not to harm, but to heal. Not to expose, but to embrace. Not to demand, but to dwell. This is where everything changes, when you stop chasing external answers and start inviting me inward. I am not a distant God. I'm not watching your life from a distance with cold detachment. I am Emmanuel. God with you, I'm Holy Spirit. God in you. And I'm not coming as a concept or a feeling, I'm coming as fire, as breath, as wind that clears the air and oil that heals the wound. I'm not just here to encourage you, I'm here to inhabit you. And the more room you make, the more of my power you'll carry. Right now, even as you read this, I'm drawing near. Can you feel it? That stillness that just came over you? That warmth pressing gently against your heart? That's me. I don't need a sanctuary to move. You are my sanctuary. I don't need a perfect atmosphere. I create it. I don't need long prayers or fancy words. I respond to hunger. And you, my child, are hungry. You've been craving something real, something that goes beyond emotion and reaches your essence. And I've come to meet you there. Let go now. Let go of the tension in your chest. Let go of the fear in your thoughts. Let go of the pressure to understand everything. You're not here to figure me out. You're here to encounter me. Open your heart. Breathe slowly. Whisper my name. Holy Spirit, come. Yes, just like that. I'm already here. You don't have to strive for me. I respond to surrender, not performance. So give me access. Invite me into your wounds, into your memories, into your confusion. I want all of it. I don't just want the healed version of you. I want the raw, unfiltered, unedited you. Because when you bring me your real self, I bring you real transformation. You've tried to heal on your own. You've tried to push through, to distract yourself, to stay strong. But strength is not what I require right now. Honesty is. Just be still and let me pour. Let me speak where silence has haunted you. Let me hold what you've been carrying too long. I see the tears that never fell. I know the thoughts you never said out loud. And I'm not overwhelmed by any of it. I'm moved by it. My compassion for you is not a distant kindness. It's a burning, living, personal love that will never run out. And as I fill you, I will begin to shift things within you that you thought would never change. The anxiety that clings to your chest, I'm lifting it. The shame that echoes in your mind, I'm silencing it. The heaviness that follows you even on good days, I'm replacing it with joy. Not superficial joy, but the kind that flows from knowing you're held, known, and chosen. That is the work of my Spirit, not to make you perform better, but to make you whole. I'm rewiring the way you see yourself. I'm clearing the fog that distorted your identity. I'm removing the trauma lenses that made you expect rejection. I'm healing the memories that taught you love always ends in pain. I'm rewriting the narrative from I'm not enough to I am beloved. This is transformation, not because of what you do, but because of what I do in you when you say yes to me fully. Let me shape your thoughts. Let me sit with you in silence. Let me bring your emotions into peace. I am not just a God of power. I am a God of presence. And my presence changes everything. You don't need to fear who you're becoming. This new version of you, the one who walks with peace, who hears my voice, who no longer strives to be accepted, that's the real you. That's who I always saw, even when you couldn't. That's who I'm restoring. And this version of you is going to walk into rooms with authority, not insecurity. You're going to pray with fire. You're going to speak with clarity. You're going to love with freedom. Not because you're trying, but because you've been transformed from within. This is not a moment of hype. This is not emotionalism. This is sacred. And what I'm doing now is foundational. I'm digging deep, removing lies, and planting truth. I'm building a new structure within you, one that can't be shaken by fear, rejection, or delay. Because what I'm building with you, I'm first building in you. Stay with me here, don't rush. Don't scroll away too soon. Let this be the moment that marks you. The moment you remember as the beginning of your inner resurrection. This is the shift. This is the encounter. This is your awakening. The invisible has changed. Now you have too, not because of willpower, but because of me. Now that you've walked with me through this journey step by step, word by word, I want you to pause for a moment. Just breathe. Feel the stillness around you. That's not just atmosphere, it's evidence. The shift has already begun. Not outside of you, but inside. You may not realize it yet, but something broke while you were reading. Something lifted. A chain you didn't even know you were dragging has snapped. You are lighter than you were before. You are more whole than you were an hour ago. You are standing in a new space, a new mindset, a new spiritual posture. And this isn't temporary. This is transformation, permanent, holy, eternal. I want you to remember this. You didn't come here for a message. You came here for an encounter, and you received one. Not because of emotions, not because of eloquence, but because you opened your heart. And I always come where I'm welcomed. I always move when faith rises. And faith has risen in you today. I've stirred waters in your soul that haven't moved in years. I've healed places in you that no human hand could reach. I've whispered truth that contradicted every lie the enemy planted. And I did it because I love you. Fully, completely, relentlessly. You may not have all the answers yet, and that's okay. You may still have questions. You may still face hard days. But here's what's different. You won't face them the same way. You won't walk into this next season carrying the same weight. Because now you know, I'm not just working in the visible. I'm working in realms you cannot see. In boardrooms you haven't entered. In hearts you haven't met. In atmospheres you haven't stepped into. I'm aligning people, resources, moments, and movements to respond to the faith you've activated today. I want you to wake up tomorrow differently. Not afraid of what's ahead, but excited. Not overwhelmed by uncertainty, but anchored in trust. And when fear tries to creep in again, and it might, just speak back and say, I've already shifted. I'm not who I was, because that's the truth. You've crossed into something new. You've stepped out of the waiting room and into the beginning of manifestation. Don't despise the small signs. Don't ignore the gentle nudges. What feels subtle today will become undeniable in days to come. I've called you to be a sign to others, not just to receive blessing, but to carry my presence in a way that awakens faith in those around you. So let your story speak. Let your joy be bold. Let your peace be contagious. You don't have to preach it, just be. Be light, be love, be steady in the chaos, be different in the best way. That alone will reveal me. And now, my beloved, let me bless you. I bless your mind to think clearly and reject confusion. I bless your heart to feel deeply without being overwhelmed. I bless your voice to speak with authority and tenderness. I bless your hands to build what I've placed in your spirit. I bless your steps to walk with grace and precision. I bless your rest to be deep, healing, and restoring. And I bless your future, not because of who you are, but because of whose you are. You are not alone. Not now, not ever. You are held, known, seen, and surrounded. Angels walk with you. My spirit lives in you, and I've already gone ahead of you to prepare the way. Everything you need is being provided. Everything you lost is being redeemed. Everything I promised is still alive. And you are rising. Now I ask you to respond. Not because I need it, but because you do. Response seals the moment. Response affirms the truth. Response declares to heaven and hell alike, I believe what God has spoken. So if this word pierced something in you, if it healed, confirmed, awakened, or shook you, then respond. Write in the comments, I receive. Let your voice echo your faith. Let others see it and be stirred to believe for themselves. And then, don't stop there. Share this. Send it to someone you love. You have no idea how much they may need it right now. You may be the exact answer to someone's secret prayer. You may be the one who pulls someone else out of darkness just by pressing a button and saying, "This made me think of you." You're not just a receiver of this word, You're now a carrier. You're part of something bigger. You're walking evidence that God is still speaking, still healing, still moving in the unseen. So walk boldly now. You've been marked by glory. You've been touched by truth. You've been filled by fire. And this is just the beginning. Amen.